Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing fantastic and that you're all having a great day. Likes, comments, and subscriptions. Thank you very much to everyone out there who leaves a like every single day. It does help out the channel. Welcome back to another News I Missed, where I go over the news that I missed. And yeah, let's jump right into it. Gaming retailer GameStop says it will no longer be focusing on any efforts revolving around cryptocurrencies after amounting $94 million in losses in the third quarter and laying off staff from its digital assets department during a 7th of December earnings call. GameStop CEO Matt Furlong said the video game retailer proactively minimized exposure to cryptocurrency during the year and does not currently hold a material balance of any token. Years ago, for those of you who forgot, GameStop was going broke, and part of their thing for revival when it came to not going broke anymore was that they announced that they would be getting into the cryptocurrency NFT space. And I tried mentioning this before. I think it was a couple of months ago or something like that. GameStop also recently made some other announcement. I remember what it was. It was something GameStop-y. And like, you have to remember, like, the company already isn't and was not doing well before. So I think that part of their trying to get into the cryptocurrency space basically had to do with like blockchain hype. If you weren't here in 2017 and 2018, after the cryptocurrency space like dramatically rose in 2017, it was like hundreds of companies began to announce that they were getting into crypto. They were getting into blockchain. The most famous one that we've gone over a couple of times is the like blockchain iced tea or something like that. It was some iced tea company who decided to add blockchain to the end of their name. People went crazy. Their stock went up by like 400%. And then people realized that there was no blockchain. They were still an iced tea company. And then they just basically collapsed. So we're seeing this a lot within our space as well. A lot of companies ignore us. And then usually it always works out the same. They try to get into the cryptocurrency space as prices are rising. And the problem with that is, if you've ever been through a market cycle before, eventually the prices will drop. So everyone hates the cryptocurrency industry when prices are going down. It's terrible. It's awful. I can't believe people are in this market. The moment we start going back up, everyone loves it. Everyone's kind of skeptical. Everyone throws all their money into the market. Everyone loves cryptocurrencies. They made everyone super, super rich. And all these companies don't have the capacity to be able to wait out the next 2 or 3 years as prices collapse and then slowly begin to recover. And also not GameStop. I was quite surprised when they announced they were even thinking of trying to do it. I feel like in all reality, if I was GameStop, I would have just packed it up a really long time ago. Not many people, of course, there are still a few out there. Not many people are buying physical games anymore. Like, I don't buy physical games. I think I bought 2 used ones because I couldn't find them anywhere on the actual eShops. But besides that, like, it's kind of a, no one goes out. Listen, I'm sure there's one person. No one's going out to buy cassette tapes or CDs or vinyls anymore. You buy everything or you download it online. So it's unsurprising that they lost tons of money because no one probably realized that there was going to be a market downtrend, like there always is and always has been. So it's the same exact thing by the time we get to the year 2025 and 2026. Don't look surprised when prices are going down. And all these companies once again hate the cryptocurrency space because that's just how it always ends up working out. They said, although we continue to believe there is long-term potential for digital assets in the gaming world, we have not and will not risk meaningful stockholder capital in this space, end quote, which basically means that somebody on the board of directors had a very lengthy conversation with them and they were like, we are mega broke and you need to stop exactly what you're doing right now because, just focus on game stuff as opposed to cryptocurrencies. The company said earlier this year that it was looking at crypto, non-fungible tokens, and Web3 applications as avenues for growth, calling these spaces increasingly relevant for gamers of the future. I mean, maybe not really. Not many people in crypto are usually willing to sell their crypto until they see that it has gone to a certain price or that they can make X amount of money. There may be like 1 out of every 20 people in crypto who has crypto who wants to spend it on a video game, to buy a video game, to buy something inside. Once again, nobody wants to be the pizza guy. That's not the entire thing of it. NFTs, sure. We've heard that pitch thrown at us a couple of other times before, where the idea is inside of a video game, you'll be able to make the items inside that game into NFTs. So as long as the game is on top of Polygon or Ethereum or any ERC20 token chain, you'll be able to take that item with you essentially forever. So that makes a lot of sense. And Web3 applications, I feel like they're just simply something that's thrown around so many times now when it comes to like decentralization and being able to play this and do that. And a lot of these things are still in like the we're just making them now phase, because no one really knows what Web3 is going to look like. We didn't know what Web 1 or Web 2 was going to look like back in 1999. We knew that the internet was everywhere and everybody was using it, but no one saw the actual iterations of what we currently have and what we're currently using. So I think that's always it's kind of like a buzzword, if nothing else, that companies will continue throwing around in an effort to try and get people more interested in them as a company or what they do. Going forward, GameStop says that they will be shifting their focus to collectibles, gaming, and pre-owned items. So like they did before. That's exactly, if you never walked into a GameStop, they have like action figures and statues, collectibles, gaming because they are GameStop, and pre-owned items, pre-owned video games. That's exactly what they did before. So I sincerely do hope that they're not going to be doing the exact same thing that they were doing before that basically drove their stock price down to pennies. Its moves in the NFT space are still seemingly going ahead, and it says it's also pursuing and plans to continue to pursue other businesses and strategic initiatives associated with digital assets and blockchain technology. Sure, go for it. Apparently, it says it right here, they filed with the SEC. So clearly something is going on. I mean, I hope they get it right this time. And not that I even use GameStop, but I'm sure a lot of people's jobs depend on that one particular website. But you got to be realistic at some point and simply I would have just become like a Bitcoin mining company if I were them, or at least taken, that $94 million that they lost from the very beginning. I would have just been mining crypto in the background, something quite passively. That's the GameStop is no longer focusing on cryptocurrencies, at least at the moment. Yeah, maybe focus on games or, making NFT games or blockchain games. I feel like that is probably a little bit better. All right. Let's move on. Also in the news is Gridless, that is grid and less, a Bitcoin mining company that is focused on rural communities in East Africa, has raised $2 million in a seed investment round led by Stillmark and Block Inc. Okay, according to a press release sent to Bitcoin Magazine. This comes in addition to an angel round led by Factory. And I say that because they spelled factor, and then at the very end, there's an E, but it's not connected to the word factor, so I just assumed it was Factory. The investment is intended to support further expansion of Bitcoin mining across Africa. In regards to the mission, the CEO of Gridless, Eric Herzman, that is Herz and then Man, said, Africa needs affordable electricity. Our work is in supporting renewable energy mini grid developers fills a gap, helping developers expand faster, more sustainable, and serve thousands of households. I sincerely hope these people are not talking about giving affordable electricity to Africa for themselves so that they can mine Bitcoin. Okay. This investment and the high caliber of partners that are coming alongside us means that we can accelerate our rollout, knowing that we have both the capital and strategic support required. Okay. In its first year of operation, Gridless has entered 5 different project contract pilots in rural Kenya alongside Hydrobox an African hydroelectric energy company. 3 of the pilots are now operational. You might notice the trend continuing over and over and over. There's a huge amount of expansion that's happening within Africa. For those of you who have never seen the projections, Africa is expected to more or less kind of be one of the greatest, and I mean the continent as a whole, not just, a country specifically, is meant to be believed to be within the next 20, 30 years, one of the largest economic powerhouses on the planet. And this is for a number of reasons, many of which we're not going to get into, but basically it has to do with population growth. They are one of the fastest growing populations, the acceleration of nations like Kenya and also South Africa when it comes to the not only growth and speed of the amount of developers there, but also the growth and network capacity and speed and all this other stuff when it comes to cryptocurrencies. For those of you who are unaware, China has recently, in the last year or two, decided, I'm trying to say this nicely, decided that they're going to help African countries build up infrastructure, but it comes with the caveat of the countries basically being in debt to China for the next 30 to 50 years. So there's a lot of building and movement and development there. You also see a lot of times, you've noticed within the cryptocurrency space, especially if we have like a news I missed kind of segment, there's a lot of building up for cryptocurrencies. I assume it has to do maybe with cheaper land, maybe a lot less roadblocks when it comes to regulations for people who are simply trying to get money into the continent as opposed to being like, no, we don't want your money. So I think the next couple of years are going to be, next 10 years are going to be quite fascinating if a lot of these projects do end up working out, to see exactly how the continent grows and more so how they accept or adopt cryptocurrencies. A lot of times, especially when we end up getting news about regulations or who's banning what or who's doing this or who's allowing this within their country, it's almost never about an African country. So I assume Changpeng Sao and the other elves are doing a lot of work back there in Binance's Santa's workshop. Because if you remember before, Changpeng Sao is basically friends with nearly every single world leader. So I assume they have not left African countries out of that as well. That's the Bitcoin mining company is expanding. I sincerely hope they're using that affordable electricity on other people, not on themselves, but I think we all know what's happening. Yeah. Let's move on. Also in the news, MinSwap, that is MINSWAP, the very first multi-pool decentralized exchange on Cardano, has experienced a front-running attack. Front-running refers to the practice of getting prior knowledge of future transactions via various means. I wonder how. Traders who commit it can potentially secure risk-free profits. Decentralized exchanges have to look for different ways to prevent such attacks. I feel like we should just have a pause on decentralized exchanges in general, at least for the next 5 or 6 years, because no one knows how to do these things properly. I think this year, I forgot what the metric was. I think there's been over 25 attacks on decentralized exchanges within the space. Tons of, it's not 51% attacks. It's people, just basically stealing money. I was trying to look for another word and it was right in front of my face. Stealing money from these platforms or exploiting some kind of a bug or figuring something out. But the problem is that so many people are trying to make the shift to decentralized exchanges and none of them seem to be working out properly. We've had tons on Ethereum. We've had tons on Solana having problems, and we haven't had many on Cardano, but I think there's probably only 2 or 3 on Cardano, so it was just a matter of time. It says the other day, a Twitter user who goes by the name Crypto Vincenzio, noticed that a malicious actor was allegedly front-running orders and pocketing guaranteed profits. In a tweet, MinSwap said that it had started investigating possible front-running on the DEX. We are working on a fix to prevent it from happening again, and we are working hard to finish that as soon as possible. So sure, another day, another hack, another front-running attack, another DEX having another problem with something. It's extremely old at this point. It just, I mean it honestly. Like, can we just not use decentralized exchanges for a while, or any? I mean, maybe the whole crypto space needs to take like 1 year break to kind of get itself back together. Because every time we hear about one of these things, like not in this particular instance, if we hear like numbers of what's happening, like remember there was a hack on some decentralized exchange earlier this year, and the person made out, or like they took, I think $300 million. Like that money belonged to someone in the cryptocurrency space. When that happens, you lose faith in crypto. You want to leave the entire market. You want nothing more to do with it. Like it's just really, I hope that these things eventually get it together, but I have no big hopes because, I feel like people are usually, my opinion, more concerned with like creating something, throwing it out into the wild and saying that it exists, as opposed to like, whatever. I can't say I'm not a coder. I'm not a developer. I don't know these things. But you would think like after the 24th one was hacked or had a problem, people would be like, wait, I don't feel safe putting my money there. But that's not how reality works. That's the Cardano decentralized exchange front-running attack news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in the news, it says the crypto market slump doesn't mean interest in crypto is also down. It's usually the exact opposite. This is the time when all the whales start buying. A new study from the cryptocurrency education platform Crypto Maniacs, that is a Maniaks, revealed that many countries are still scouring the internet, hungry for crypto-related informazione. According to the study, the Netherlands and Turkey are in the top two spots, with 8.2% and 5.5% of their population, respectively, searching for crypto-related terms. Turkey, particularly, geez Louise, Turkey has 4.7 million searches, leading the searchers with sheer numbers. I can't speak. The study analyzed the combined number of searches for a select set of popular cryptocurrencies and into a percentage of the population for each country in order to calculate the cryptocurrencies into a percentage of the population for each country in order to calculate the percentage of local searching each month. That was difficult to say. It's not just me. Sometimes I sit here and I'm like, why can't I read? And I'm like, no, that was also like, that wasn't an easy sentence to say quickly out loud. It probably was, but we're going to just move on from there. While it was in second for overall searches, Turkey came in first place for searches relating to Dogecoin with 812,000 monthly searches. This is nearly double that of Ether, the country's third most searched crypto. I think a lot of people are fascinated and nearly captivated by the idea of Dogecoin, or where Dogecoin could be, or what Dogecoin is capable of. I would like to believe in a just world that people simply aren't only obsessed with Dogecoin because of Muskie, but I think I know the actual answer to that. I'm also I question if a lot of coins' popularity resides in the fact that they are cheaper than other larger coins that are on the market. I.e., Ethereum is the most used blockchain on the planet. Got it. Dogecoin is not. I don't know where the ranking comes in, but I assume it's not within the top 10, regardless of where its market cap might actually be. Is it that people are buying Dogecoin because it is less than 10 cents and because they cannot afford an entire Ether? Does it then segue into, well, I would buy 1,000 Dogecoin before I could even afford an entire Ether? Because then maybe if Dogecoin goes up to 1,000, then I have 10,000 something or other dollars at the exact same time. Like, I wonder what drives the fascination and the interest for certain coins. I.e., like years ago, a lot of people, when I was telling them, like friends and family, they were asking me like, which coin should they get in the cryptocurrency space? And I was like, well, listen, if you really want to get into it, I would buy the largest coins. It just makes a lot more sense that you would be able, buy the safest coins, because these are people who have never invested, never, purchased anything outside of like sneakers and shoes and hats and stuff like that. So I'm like, listen, you want the safest ones, buy the biggest coins. Did anyone listen to me in the first place? Nope, not a single gosh darn person even listened to me. The point of the matter is that I know that they would have purchased Dogecoin or XRP like many people did a long time ago, because XRP's price was 1 cent. And therefore, the idea is Bitcoin's not going to 900x. So let me get the smaller coin at the exact same time. I think everyone's just kind of waiting for Dogecoin to really just hit $1. I think that'll kind of be like the gigantic sigh of relief for everyone when we finally see that it ends up actually going to $1. A spokesperson for Cryptomaniacs commented on the Doge curiosity, particularly over the last year, saying Dogecoin's popularity has surpassed that of Ethereum in a significant number of countries, with nearly 2 million more monthly searches worldwide for the coin. When people are searching for Dogecoin, do they search for the inflation rate? Do they search for how many people are using it? Or is it simply like, I heard about this coin online? What's the number again? There are millions of Dogecoin being printed every single day. Ethereum is deflationary. What's the thing that draws people to a lot of these coins? I mean, clearly it's money, but it's more like what's the other factor that gets them there? Because Dogecoin isn't a company. Dogecoin itself has not made any promises the same way that we've heard of upgrades or updates from the Ethereum space, or even, higher ranking people within the Bitcoin space who are like, Bitcoin's going to $9 bajillion. I wonder why people, I don't know. I wonder what I get it. Like, I understand that people want to see it go higher so that they can make money, but I wonder what the general fascination is. Are you expecting to be able to buy stuff from Tesla or buy a Tesla with your Dogecoin? Is it for like clout? Is it to tell people, hey, I have 20 million Dogecoin because I bought it early? I always wonder what it is. And for those of you who are also wondering, so when I saw this article, I thought it was going to go in a completely different direction. Of course, I'm an idiot, so, what have you. Have any of you seen Turkey's inflation rate? Do you know how bad it is there? Like, it's not good. So when I saw this article, I thought it was, people hungry for crypto-related information was like, oh, snaps, stuff is really bad here. Let me start accumulating cryptocurrencies as a just in case for everything going on. But nope, it's just people wanting to buy Dogecoin. So, bless their hearts. For those of you not looking at the screen, Turkey's inflation rate is currently at 84.39%. Yeah, see, that's why I was like, oh, they're looking for like a hedge in some sort of way or something to be able to preserve what money they have. Oh my gosh. So the algorithm on YouTube is kind of insane. If you watch like one of anything, and heaven forbid, should you watch the entirety of one thing, the algorithm will show you 9 million other things just like it. I'm getting so many documentaries recently about like the energy crisis and the gas crisis, and people can't pay their bills crisis because of all the stuff that's been happening for, the last forever. But there have been so many things that have been popping up about Turkey as well. It's very, very weird. And they were showing these people who is multiple. But one that sticks out in my head was these people who were from other countries who were like vacationing in Turkey. And they were like, yeah, we came here because the currency collapsed and we can stay at a 5-star hotel. It's like $15 a night. It was all this really weird stuff. But then they were showing the actual people who lived in Turkey, and they were like, I can't afford bread. Why? Because the inflation rate is 79%. So like they were showing how like their paychecks wasn't even enough to like pay their rent anymore because inflation had completely skyrocketed in one direction. And they were even showing like there was this one guy, he was like, yeah, my rent, they show like, the US dollar number at the bottom. He was like, yeah, normally my rent is like $250 per month, but the landlord's trying to raise it to like $850. I can't pay that. Anyway, it's just very, how do I say this? If that is currently not you, be happy that you are in a very privileged position where you don't have to worry about not being able to pay your rent or you can't get bread. It's very weird what's happening in the world. It's so... I think it's odd to see it happening, and in my own way, like, not being able to do about it. Like, not that I'm expecting to, like, become Superman and, like, punch inflation in the face, but it's like, is it this way for anyone else where you feel like, it's... How do I say it? So many things are taking place in the world right now, and like we kind of just have to sit back and look at all of it as it's happening because we can't do anything. I don't know. I don't know how to really phrase it in any other way. It also ties into like when I first got into crypto, the amount of people who kept on saying that inflation was going to get really bad. And it just seemed almost unbelievable. But now when you talk about these numbers, when you talk about people not being able to like pay their rent or, buy groceries because things are up or things have doubled. And I see, and my local grocery, things have gone up between like 80 to 100%. And I'm like, that's way above inflation. So you guys are clearly, shaking people's pockets. Anyway, that's apparently Turkey has an obsession with Dogecoin. But we had something similar to that before. This was a couple of months ago, maybe even summertime. There was like that map, that chart that was showing the world. A huge portion of the planet is really into Dogecoin. It's Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, and Ethereum. These are the top searches on the planet all the time for these coins. So I do wonder. I do sincerely wonder where the meme coins will be in about 10 years. Wouldn't it be freaking wild if Dogecoin ends up going to like $23 and Shiba Inu is at like 5 in 10 years? Wouldn't that be crazy? Okay. All right. Let's move on. Because, wouldn't that be odd? All right. I mean, crazier things have happened. All right. Let's move on. Also in the news, it says as the global digital asset market continues to decline after the collapse of FTX, because that's, the worst thing that's ever happened. Data has depicted that algorithmic stable coins like Tron's USDD and Waves' Neutrino USD or USDN, what? Okay, are depegging massively. Algorithmic stablecoins have been a subject of worry for the crypto industry for this whole year after the depegging of Terra's USD to zero. If you ever look at Terra USD, it says the coin, some websites actually say it's gone down by 100%. Other ones say 99.999. It's the weirdest thing in the entire world. So basically, we're back on the depegging train. I don't know how to put that into words. First of all, let's back it up. A lot of these stable coins aren't even used. Surprise. The most popular stable coins are Tether, Coinbase's Circle Coin, Binance's US dollar, and I think there's one more that's like relatively popular. A lot of other times. So I think this is just, remember we were talking about it before. It appears as if, nope, we know. The big wigs are in the space. The banks, the institutions, yada, yada. They're all here now. And they don't want to share any pieces of the pie with anybody else. So I think a lot of this, because we've had so many stable coins depegging over the course of this year. And I feel like they're just a tax on the system, on these coins. Because if you don't forget, even now, there's so much like hate against Tether, like resurfacing, but it's resurfacing from the exact same news platforms where it did before. The same exact people writing the same exact stuff, trying to get people re-scared about it. So I guess by the end of all of it, if you only have Tether, Coinbase coin, and Binance's US dollar, you as Fidelity or you as JP Morgan Chase, you can definitely, slide on into the cryptocurrency space. So Not the most exciting news that Waves is stablecoin is depegging. I've also heard so many things about like against algorithmic stablecoins and how they just don't work because you can manipulate them in some sort of way, and then the algorithm completely collapses, and then the coin collapses, it depegs. Any other coins that are attached to it also end up depegging and falling in price as well. So, sure. This coin isn't. I don't think I have never, besides this video, said the words USDD or USDN. Also, why is Tron stablecoin? They can't. I was going to say, why is it not USDT as for Tron? But that's already taken. And then I was going to say, why is it not TUSD? Because that's also taken. Maybe something else? Like no, wait. No, okay, I can't do it. Never mind. I don't know. I don't know why I was going to sit here and actually try and figure out a name for Tron stablecoin. USDD just sounds weird. Okay, I was going to make a joke. That's the stablecoins are continuing to depeg news. Alrighty. Let's move on. Also in news, the Lightning, whoever wrote this is weird. The Lightning Network continues to shock the Bitcoin community. That literally makes no sense. A Swiss IT professor going by the name F418, it says not his real name. What? That's crazy. His parents didn't name him a letter and numbers? That's insane. Has surgically implanted a Lightning-enabled chip into his left hand to make Lightning Network payments. For those of you not looking at the screen, it's a 3D image of a hand with like a little thing inside of it. It's like a little chip kind of thing. Speaking with Cointelegraph, F418 said he has experimented with body, I don't even know if I can say that word, and Lightning payments for fun. He does not recommend that Bitcoin enthusiasts take the layer 2 payment network, the LN, into their own hands as he did. He said the use is just to show that it's possible and you can do stuff like that. He added that most people carry cards. It's just his hand has the wow factor. So here's a really weird one. A couple of years ago, I don't know how to say it any other way. I would consider myself to be a futurist. So I love, and I mean love, the idea of the future. My problem is that I'm very optimistic about everything. So, you know, a lot of times I hear that technology is happening and I'm like, whoa, that sounds amazing. I can't wait till we help and save people around the world. And then it never ends up actually working out that way. So I watch tons of documentaries when it comes to anything in the future. I don't care what it is. Self-driving cars, smart homes, CRISPR, you name it. What's that thing? I don't care for the guy, but the idea of Neuralink is also quite fascinating to me as well. And the potential applications that it will have in the future. I love things with AI. I use AI. You kind of name it, I'm all into it. So a couple of years ago, I saw a documentary that revolved around people in, I believe it was Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. The idea is that the idea of going cashless, and how there are tons of countries around the world who are already nearly completely cashless. Everything is just digital. People are tapping their phones, they're tapping their cards, they're swiping their cards, they have their Apple iPhone watch, you name it. But the next step that people in these Nordic countries, this is why I was focused on them, have been taking is these exactly what you see here. This is what it looks like. It's like this little chip that goes into your hand. And I know someone listening to this right now is mortified with a capital M. I have a friend here. I mentioned about her before. She is like the least computer person I've ever met in my entire life. I think I even told her when I saw the documentary. Horrified, like to no degree that you can even begin to possibly imagine. So when they were showing these people in the Nordic countries, this guy, the way that he displayed it was he walked up to his house door and he held his hand against it and the door unlocked. And the guy filming was like, how'd how'd you do that? He was like, well, it's in my hand. And he was like, what are you talking about? The guy walks up to his car, puts his hand on the door unlocks. And the guy was like, how'd you do that? And then he went to like some gathering community meetup with tons of other people like that who were getting the exact same thing done. So when I saw this, like this particular article on the screen, I was not shocked myself, but I know that hearing this, people, I think a lot of people are not ready for the future that's knocking at the door. I think a lot of people are relatively used to the world that we live in right now, regardless of how much technology that we might have floating around us. I mentioned this earlier this year. If you get a chance, there's a TV show from the BBC. It's called Years and Years. It is absolutely incredible. It basically is about a family, and it goes, I think every episode sees them, 5 years later from the previous episode. So you see how things have evolved, how the world has changed, how much older they get, how many more prosthetics they have, yada, yada, yada. But they also deal in the technology as well, like technology constantly advancing. I love it. It is like if you have the chance, it's called Years and Years. Go watch it. It'll hopefully change your life. I found it quite beautiful in the way that it actually portrayed itself and also ended. So what a lot of people don't get is, so in me watching all these documentaries, a lot of the scientists and the people who are dealing in this kind of technology, they say that people usually always tend to be afraid of any type of new technology that ends up being thrown out there. You know, it seems completely insane to even think of something like that. But the guy was explaining it. He said, you don't realize that like your phone's in your hand all day. He's like, at some point, we're going to be able to miniaturize it and probably, have you ever seen, here's a crazy one. Have you seen the contact lenses that, what do you call it? That like you can wink and take a photo with them. Or they also have other ones, which are still maybe very expensive, that you can actually wear the contacts and like it can record video. Not a long amount of video, but 15 years, we will definitely be there. And the guy was saying, he's like, that's also kind of the similar thing to having the thing in the hand. This one just is in your eye. So imagine like they've made smartphones so tiny and so small that you walk into an Apple store and you buy a contact lens. And the contact lens that you put on has nothing but augmented reality, and it is your phone. I don't know. It's all a little, I think, far too maybe sci-fi for a lot of people. If you've never watched Black Mirror, also go watch it. I love anything to do with the future. You have no idea. Like it's kind of all that I watch. Anyway, it says it's funny if you do a presentation, as I do sometimes, do presentations about payments and talk to people that are working in banks. They make big eyes if they see that my hand. You don't need to have that implant. Here's a one photo of it, but there's also another one. Is there another one somewhere around here? No, that's not it. There's also another one. Where is it? There's another article. Yeah. From the this is from the BBC. It's really interesting. This is like it's not even a trend. It's kind of just where things are going. And I know someone has completely checked out as as I'm saying all this stuff, but it's where things are going. There's a guy, not to segue too much away from it, but there's a guy who mentioned before, I don't know if I can say a lot of these words. Basically, he was climbing a mountain and something happened to the things that allow him to walk. Those essentially, for lack of a better saying, went bye-bye. And I think apparently he was very rich, and he has these like, they're not even prosthetics. They look like Iron Man feet. I can't say them in any other way. Anyway, so long story short, this is most of what a lot of the future is going to be like. I have a lot of friends. I always joke with them. As technology continues to advance, I think a lot of my friends are going to move back to the woods. And I say it not even in like a joking way, but I've tried talking to some friends about like Bitcoin payments and like not using cash. and the idea of the blockchain and like the, you know, the digitization of everything, what have you. And one person was like, she was like, I think I'm gonna try and buy land in Sweden. And I was like, what? She's like, she's like, I don't want to be in a big city anymore if everyone is using this kind of technology. So anyway, yeah, some guy got a Lightning Network payment thing in his hand. I assume it's a generalized wallet, but part of it is also a what do you call it? A Lightning Network payment thing. So at least he's ready for the future. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea how to really end this in this segment. I just find this so fascinating. Like the things that are there, the things that are being built, like these like new futuristic cities that are also being built, like where every single thing is going to be autonomous. Everything is going to be run by AI. It's going to be drones flying everywhere, self-driving cars, self-driving buses. It's not that far off. A lot of people, have you ever seen, I don't know how I always forget the name of this thing, like that chart that gets like it goes completely straight up and it shows like the advancements of technology and like, you know, how basically at some point we advance so far and so fast. It's like a straight line up. And we're at the point where there's nothing really stopping us from kind of doing everything. It's just a matter of time. And a lot of people, a lot of scientists, a lot of mathematicians and, you know, analysts, they think we're only 10 to 15 years off from like an unrecognizable future. A future where in 15 years, we're going to look back at now and be like, how did I not have my phone in my eye? Like it's really, because trying to imagine a world without your phone. Like, think about it. Think about a world with no internet, no phone, no tablet. You kind of sit there and go, well, what do I do? Like there's, you know, you know, of course people lived before that. But anyway, the point is, yeah, some guy can now swipe his hand and pay for things through the Lightning Network. So yeah, welcome to the future. That's the Lightning Network hand news. All right. I do hope that somehow you've all enjoyed. I want to know, I was going to ask the question, how many people would get this? I assume it's at least 95% of people being like, nope. But, you know, we'll see. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.